When you can switch on the camera. Yes. Hi,
Hello.
welcome. We just started the first question. I know artists have, their own unique timings of creating art, and it's not as structured as you may have in the corporate.
Definitely not. Definitely.
Tell me, in such an open kind of routine, how do you look at fitness? Is wellness a priority? How do you make sure that it's also part of your day?
See, firstly, my take on fitness is different. For me, fitness is not about having a zero size figure or a six-pack ab. It's about the mind and body being in sync with each other. It's about us being comfortable in our skins. It's about us being happy with who we are and being able to do everything we want to do. So that's the way I live my life. I'm not the kind of person who would believe in going to a gym and all that. In fact, I'm an artist, so I would find that very claustrophobic. But thankfully, in my case, there is a blessing. If our work and passion are one and the same,
Right.
that is a very big thing, according to me. Because if our work and passion are one and the same, then at the same time, we are happy, we are fit, we are working. And travel. I travel a lot in the Himalayas. I travel a lot in the mountains because I love the mountains. That is my battery recharge. That is a kind of a battery recharge because I feel even if you have a passion, sometimes you need to just take a little time off to live life itself.
Right.
Because that is where the ultimate fitness comes in. If you see many people who have these zero-size bodies and six-pack abs are in professions which require those, they also have many lifestyle diseases, bulimia, anorexia nervosa, all kinds. Basically, for me, so fitness is about, as I said, being in harmony with oneself. And if I'm able to do that, then according to me, I am fit.
Absolutely. Raghuvar, very valid point here. We have been given a certain sense of fitness looks like this, if you go to the gym or
exactly.
if you do your...
Exactly.
Tell me, are we victims of this stereotype somewhere? Is there another way of looking at fitness which is easier for a working professional?
Absolutely.
For example, I also want to go to this core with this question that, in your view, what do you kind of prefer? As in, is it do you go with the structure, the sense of a gym, a trainer kind of setup, or do you have your own way of looking at what I can do in a day in 20 minutes, 10 minutes?
Well, I'll agree with both, Surbi and Nam, that it's about mental and physical. Both should go hand in hand, and they need tuning. So for me, I'm not a gym freak. I don't like hitting the gym. The simple thing I do is in the morning, I listen to my podcast and do some gardening. But I make sure I spend time with my father and mother, and we all go out for a walk. Or if not, I go out for a walk with my mom. So that's simple. And in between work, I take regular breaks. So instead of ordering coffee, I just go grab one, and instead of using a lift, I use stairs. And I have coffee while drinking and chatting with my colleagues. And if I am on a phone call, then obviously I make sure I move around. And there's a very interesting thing I would like to share. So in my office, we have made a tradition, and we follow this from ExxonMobil, the automobile company, the American automobile company. So we play music for 10 to 15 minutes every day, where everyone has to get up from their chairs and do some stretching. So this makes sure everyone is rejuvenated and, everyone gets a break. So it just refreshes the mind. So these are some simple activities I do. I make sure I get up from my chair regularly for little to big activities, and that's all I do. And apart from this, for at least 4 hours a week and one day completely in a month, I make sure I do what I like, and for my mental and physical health. And this includes playing squash and also going out with my family and friends.
Right. Ms. Gupta, giving a sense that we all talk about wellness and fitness. One, it's easier said than done, that we all know. Second, have you always been, someone who had a fitness schedule? How was it somewhere in between a turning point that you started looking at it as a priority? it been like for you?
Very honestly, no. I've never had. I still don't have a fitness schedule. When I was in my early 20s, I really didn't give too much thought about fitness. It was more, junk eating, and you know how the college lifestyle is. It was fully like that. But once I started working on my own startup and the business took off, and you realize the busier you get, the less time automatically it is that your body has. And then one day it suddenly hits you, the lesser time you're giving to your body, the less efficient you're becoming. So to me, it just became connected. And I still don't have like a routine, but there are a few things that I follow, like I mentioned earlier. And if nothing else, I always like to squeeze in a walk with my husband. Probably we do that at night. That is also a time when we go through our entire day. We discuss any issues we may have faced at work. He's also my co-founder, so we discuss anything that may have come up at work, and we kind of unburden ourselves of those stresses of the day. And I'm the sort of person who believes in you should take time to smell the coffee. So I like to, stop and maybe look at the flowers and sit in my balcony or do some gardening. Those are the kind of things that I do. And putting fitness in a bucket or in a schedule, it makes it like a chore for me. It makes it like a task. And as a business person, you do not want to add one more thing to your list, right? You already have so many things to do. So fitness or wellness should be something that actually breaks the routine. So that's how it is for me.
Right. So, Sonali, you mentioned that it's about wellness and feeling, and all those factors are very important when you look at fitness. But would it also mean for an artist like 2 bottles of wine every day? I mean, but that is how would it
can you hear me?
Yes.
Because I can't see you. Okay. See, it's not about wine. It's not like I have 2 bottles of wine every day. I don't do that every day. That is once in a while. But drinking in moderation actually is not bad. A glass of wine a day is not bad. In fact, it is a very healthy thing. There are many doctors who will tell you that it's healthy. Of course, there are many people who do not consume they have religious reasons or whatever reasons they have. I respect that wholeheartedly. But personally, I believe a glass of wine a day is good for health. In fact, I remember many of my friends who are senior doctors have also told me this. So this is just not me talking. Yeah, but definitely not 2 bottles a day. Not that.
So I'll come to you for fitness coaching then. Great. Dr. Kaur, tell me, for people who have a similar lifestyle as you, what would you tell them from your standpoint if they want to have a work-life balance? What's been your experience? What would you like to share, and let them, follow that?
Well, I would recommend everyone to take care of their mental and physical health. So I'll share with this. It's all about self-being, and self-being means self-awareness. If you can't take care of your self-being, you can't take care of your company. And there's a line I read somewhere. It's like the well-being is as fragile as a beautiful flower caught out by harsh morning frost. So it made me think of the importance of guarding well-being against the morning frost, which is the stresses and pressures of continually moving my business forward. And I'm sure every entrepreneur and every business lady will think of that. The simplest I can suggest everyone is just do what they like. There need not be any fixed schedule or any fixed activity. They just need to take time for themselves. And this is taking a medical approach for a business that is no different from a human body. There are many vital organs in the body, and there are many vital components to make a business successful. So all of these have to work together and in tune. Otherwise, major issues can arise and some serious. The simplest of all is the breathing exercise. We can always breathe. The proper breathing means you can watch YouTube tutorials and videos where we do some deep breathing, and this also helps to manage emotions. You can think better, and that's why most therapists recommend the same. So this is something, just incorporate anything you like and just make time for it. Even if you can't, you are business professionals, you are running a company, so you know how to manage, how to make time. So simplest in one line, I would say, do what you like. That's it. Which keeps you happy.
Ms. Gupta, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
So your office and your people and what do you, would you like to tell people who are busy like you, have schedules like you, when it comes to, I know this is not a fitness coach kind of an advice, but from somebody who's practically inundated in a daily work, coming from them is a whole new thing. If somebody has to follow a fitness regime in a way you are functioning, what would be the easiest thing? For example, you mentioned don't put it in a bucket, for example. I can recall that. What would you like to tell them? What is the easiest way to follow fitness regime?
So I know that most people, when they're trying out something new or where fitness is not a priority, it takes stuff to be, it takes time for them to get motivated and do things on their own. Most people like a little structure, like a little bit of guidance when they're doing something like that. Me too, when I started. So I heard of this concept called 10-minute workout, and that's something I started doing. I suggest, this is one advice, the 10-minute workout is something I've heard so many of people doing and enjoying. I know it's hard to take out 30 minutes or an hour from your day for something like fitness. People may have that time, but they're not simply motivated enough to take that time out for fitness. So they can do that for their physical fitness. Second thing I would like to add here is a lot of us are going through a lot of stress. Our generation especially extremely stressed, one of the most stressed of all times, because we constantly live in this world of social media where we're judged for what we do, what we don't do, what we say, what we don't say. And if you're a growing startup owner like me, you're always stressed about if you've hit the numbers, if you've done more, or you have this whole separate concept of funding that needs to be taken care of. So there are a lot of things, and when you're juggling with so many things, it often so becomes that your mental health gets compromised. So I just want to put it out there. If you feel like you're bogged down and you're not motivated enough to do anything, go seek help, take therapy. It's not a stigma. What happens here is as important as what happens in the rest of your body. You may be putting on a smile and going to work every day, but it's okay to pause and go and talk to someone if you're not feeling up to the mark, because the only way you and your business are going to run well is, if everything is stable in your head. If it's not, then there's no point even doing what you're doing. That's
right. Ms. Chaudhary, with your lifestyle and, what is the easiest way of staying fit, according to you?
See, firstly, I would like to say that I agree with what the other two just said, both the other panelists. Besides that, there is something which I find to be very effective. That is being one with nature. It is not just about going to a gym, not just about exercising. Feel the grass beneath your feet. Ever walked barefoot on the grass? That is therapy. Feel the wind in your hair. Literally spend your life in the present moment. Go through every moment fully, whether that is painting. And another thing which I would like to add, in our technology-driven age, technology is a double-edged sword. So where it has made our lives easier, it has also reduced the amount of movement. So we don't move so much anymore. Technology is taking care of so many things. In our childhood, when I was a child, we did not have to think about exercising. Our bodies just took care of themselves because we moved. We made our own beds. We cleaned our own rooms. We did everything. At least I did everything. So
right.
All that matters. You see, exercise is not just about gymming or going for a walk. It's about being physically, moving physically. It's about having physical movement in your life. And that should be there. And closeness to nature, as I said, go for therapy, yes. But over here, I would like to add one thing, that most people have to go for therapy because they are part of the rat race. And that is the biggest curse. when we try and compare, because if we look outside, there is always going to be someone better than us. So how much are we to race? We're not rats, we're human beings. So let's behave like human beings. I compete with myself. For me, what I do today should be better than what I did yesterday. Then I should be content and not look outside. So these are a few things I would like to add.
Right. Dr. Kaur, when this pandemic started last year, and we all firstly thought that it has given us an opportunity to reset, rethink, reimagine at the world, then the normal life came back, it overtook, and it is the same life once again. But tell me, has this pandemic forced us to relook at life and keep wellness at a certain priority where it belongs? Has it happened in your case?
Well, yes, I think everyone has become more health conscious at this time, and even when this pandemic started, because there was no fixed medicine, there was no fixed treatment, there is still not. So the virus didn't see anybody's wealth, it saw health. And yes, it made me realize just how important health, just not my health, but of my team members and my family is, especially this mental health. Because during this pandemic, many people have gone into depression. They are prey to some mental illness diseases, and that's just because the lifestyle, everything has changed. So during this pandemic, and as it continues, I too changed my lifestyle. I wasn't a morning person, but now I make sure I devote 1 hour completely to myself and do what prepares me for the day ahead. So as I told you, I listen to some podcasts, and I think the only way to stay healthy, not just for myself, for everyone, is to build immunity so that our body can fight against diseases, including this virus, because that's the only way we can have natural defense soldiers. So good health is not just the preserve of the body, it is also the mind. So overall fitness, both in terms of physical and mental health, is well taken care of, and it helps to release endorphins, and which makes more WBCs, white blood cells, which aid in immunity. So yes, post-pandemic and as the pandemic is still going on, everyone's lifestyle has changed, and everyone focuses on making sure that they follow healthy diets and they incorporate some exercise in one way or the other.
Great. Very valid points there. Ms. Gupta, if you can hear me. So the same, last 1.5 year, almost 1 year plus, it has forced us to relook at life, In your case, how has it impacted your overall outlook of wellness?
My overall outlook on wellness has been impacted in a way that now I don't take things for granted. What Ms. Sonali very rightly said, what it is like to feel the grass beneath your feet, something as small as that. It's important because for the longest of times we were inside our houses and we do not have the luxury to go out to the park and to just do that, taking a walk, which is something so simple we took for granted. We couldn't do that. And looking at the stars at night, we couldn't do that. So for me now, it has impacted each of the things that I do in my life. Going out for a meal with my partner or with my family, that is something, these small things is something I've stopped taking for granted. Each activity that makes me happy, I feel that I should make it count, because somewhere there is always that little fear in the mind, when this may stop. Like we've seen with the second wave, and we're again, cloistered inside our homes and our offices, and we don't know how this is going to go on. So it's about taking things less for granted and living in the moment. I guess that's how it has made me change as a person.
And that's a huge difference. I think when we look at smaller things and get a kick out of it now, I think maybe if we can sustain it for long, that would be incredible. Ms. Chaudhary, so this pandemic and your sense of wellness, your outlook on it, how is it changed?
Pandemic and my sense of wellness. Well, the pandemic taught me one very important thing. How to be happy alone. That is very important, you see. Sometimes human beings are social creatures, and that is all very fine. But I feel beyond a point, we should not be dependent on others for the sake of our own happiness. And the body and mind are very closely interlinked. You will notice one thing, that some of the healthiest people in the world are not the ones who have a low weight or who have a very fit body. They're the ones who are happy. They're the ones who are happy. So if you can be happy with yourself, only then can you be happy with others. This is one very important thing that this pandemic taught me. And thankfully, as an artist, my studio is in my home. So I could work, I could create. That is very important. But furthermore, I feel that deep inside, all human beings have that spark of an artist in them. So we can create our own happiness to a great extent instead of relying on it, instead of relying on others for it. Sorry.
Right.
That's what I feel.
Dr. Kaur, this is probably my final question to all of you. Tell me, is there, do we need to have an entire change in the way we function, the work culture, from the big corporation, from the HR side to the ones running their own individual businesses, giving their employees time that, fitness is also productive time. Do you think this is going to happen, we are coming near to this kind of a culture anytime soon?
Well, I think as we are all going to go back to work, the physical workspace, companies are going to change that. They are going to take care more for the employees' health. Because if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of you. And that's how it goes. And yes, I mean, we have to unlearn things because this pandemic has changed lives drastically for each and every person, for each and every company, irrespective of the profession. So it's a major requirement to unlearn things and incorporate some changes. So yes, fitness in terms of physical and mental health both. Because this reminds me of one quotation by Jim Rohn: take care of your body because that's the only place you have to live, and body includes head to toe. So yes, it's important to make your employees aware of the culture and incorporate changes. For example, for once a week, like every weekend, you can plan a sports activity, like you can play soccer together, or you can go for lawn tennis and have some such kind of activity. And if not, then obviously you can always have you can have tea together in evening, so you can talk about so many things. And because human touch is a form which we all are lacking at this present time. So yes, these changes are a must, and if we incorporate these changes, if we think of people as our own people and take care of them, then definitely it's going to benefit us from each and every angle.
Ms. Gupta, for next time your employee is in the gym and saying, I am working, would you count that as productive time? I mean, should we move to that kind of a culture when an employee gym break is a valid, kind of part of the work, wellness and work balance?
Why not? I'm not a person who sticks to structured routines anyway. If I have to disseminate some kind of culture in my company, that would be the kind of culture in my company where they don't have to be, in front of me at their desk for a certain number of hours and only that counts as work. No, let them be wherever they are. And to me, what matters as a founder or as a leader is that what has been tasked to you or what you're responsible for, you deliver that. Whether you do that in the gym or in the pool or at a bar is hardly my concern. So go ahead and do that, because I don't feel my productivity only comes at my desk. It could hit me anywhere. That's what I purely believe. Some of my best ideas and breakthroughs have come when I was in fact not at my desk, when I was doing something completely random. The idea for my business in fact came to me when I was at my honeymoon and I saw these sustainable paper napkins over there, and that's when I thought I wanted to get into sustainability, and that's how my brand was started. So if that's the kind of person that I am, and I do believe ideas can come anywhere and you can be productive as long as you're honest to what you're doing. So yeah, if they are at the gym and they feel they can deliver on time, it doesn't really matter to me.
Because earlier also offices had swanky gyms, fully furnished ones, but nobody used to use them. Earlier, I think it used to be there as a corner, beautiful place. But I think maybe
the employer wants to give to the employee, but in India, there's this culture that you have to show your face to your boss, only then it counts as working. It's there, and I've been part of some mega corporates, and I remember if you left on time, 6:30 was our exit time, and I would be someone who would pack my bags up by 6:25 and get ready to leave by 6:30, and there would be those cliched jokes. Oh, you're taking a half day today. Oh, things like that. I'm like, I am paid to be here till 6:30. I'm done with my work. I'm not paid to sit to show my face to my boss. So that's the kind of person I always was. So yes, it's sad that while employers go ahead and provide so many facilities to their employees don't use it because that culture is there, that we have to sit on our desks and send emails out late at night to show that we're working. So I think that needs to go somewhere. Then wellness will settle in automatically.
And then this leads to this point that to fit in more exercise or in a work routine, I think it's not just an individual effort. It's also about the whole work culture that has around us where we function. Quickly to you, Ms. Chaudhary, final points from you about, do you think we need to relook at the way, you broadly spoke about it, but I want to revisit it. We look at fitness overall for freelancers, for example, who are totally independent, don't belong to a work culture, don't have to show their faces to the boss every day. For them, what would you like to tell them if they have to find a work-life balance?
Yeah, I would like to say one thing here. People tend to think that being a freelancer is very easy. It actually is not, because at the end of the day, we also have to be successful. We also have to earn our bread and butter. And for that, we have to deliver, right? So the thing over here, which I follow, a principle which I follow, which I feel, which is very close to my heart, that once we become part of the rat race, see, there is a difference between being successful and becoming part of the rat race and competing with everyone around you, because that takes a toll. When we become part of the rat race, most people, they start living to work. I work to live. So for me, life is supremely important, that I should live my life to the fullest. And my work should be a part of that, not everything.
Very, very well said. And thank you everyone for joining us on this quick chat session where we're talking about wellness. So we are not fitness experts, but then of course it's a very valid conversation for all of us. And thank you for sharing all the inputs and raising some very valid questions. Over to you, Mithil.